Hey guys, welcome to another short episode of Gear Dump. Basically, I'm going through all of my gear, sorting everything out, and going to show you kind of each category of some stuff that I have. And some of it is prepping stuff, some of it's camping stuff, some of it's bug out bag, survival type stuff. And this episode is obviously fire. So you can pick up, a lot of just regular kitchen matches, whether the big ones or small ones, and that's what you'll end up with. And if you keep them dry, they work great. So they're pretty cheap. Or you can pick up some of these waterproof matches just about anywhere, and basically they have wax on the head to keep the head being able to strike. Or you can pick up some of these UCO stormproof matches, and they're about $4 or $5 for a pack of 25 of the stormproof matches. So you're getting something that you can stick down in water after you strike it, pull it out, and it's still burning. The wind's not going to blow it out, and it's going to create a lot hotter flame to be able to get a fire going. Or you can spend about $8 and buy the Titan stormproof matches for the same amount, and that big old beast is what you're going to get. It's more of a stick than a match, but anyway, this is just some stuff that I keep around in my prep stuff as far as matches go, and I just love these Titan stormproof UCO brand matches. You can't beat that thing if you're going to carry matches. Okay, so next is some tinder, or some type of tinder. Basically, these Light Me tinders, or basically they're quick tinders. They're pretty cheap. They're about $3, and you get about 8. They're cigarette butts, essentially, soaked in wax, and they work really well. You pull them apart and they work well. You can also buy these zip starters. You just light the plastic packaging there, and the whole thing will burn, and they work really well. These I've not used, but they're strike fire. They're basically giant tinder matches. They have a striker on the head, and it's a huge piece, kind of like the fire starting logs, but a giant match. This is a fire starter that I did a video on. It's kind of my own creation, I guess. And if you go back through my videos and look up the world's greatest fire starter, that's what this is. It's a mixture of all kinds of stuff, and I've vacuum sealed it, and basically have something here where I can tear it open and just light it up. If I remember correctly, it burned for about 15 minutes at a pretty hot temperature. So that's something good that you can make yourself. If you get some petroleum jelly and cotton balls and mix that in, you can make some really good tinder. Also, there's these cotton rounds that you can buy for $1 per 100 pack at the Dollar Tree, and you'll get an old candle and melt the old candles in a pot and just start dipping. I use needle nose pliers and just dip the cotton rounds in the wax. You can dip them fast or dip them slow, let it soak in. Either way, I found out they work pretty good. But where you're holding it, it doesn't soak in there, so you can use that point to kind of rip it up a little bit and light that, and they burn for, I believe, 5 minutes and give you a pretty good flame. And for $1 for 100 of them and some old candles, that's a pretty good fire starter. Also, you can get an old Altoids tin, poke a hole in the top, and I'm sure many of you have seen or learned how to make char cloth, which is a pretty good tinder. Or you can take, gunpowder and some cotton cloth and wet or dampen the gunpowder and rub it into the cloth, and then let them dry, and that's going to be another good tinder to be able to carry with you. Also, steel wool is going to be a really good fire starter. It's obviously waterproof, and it's going to burn pretty hot, and it'll give you an opportunity to light up a bird's nest. It's always good to have a bunch of lighters. I like the mini Bic lighters. I always carry one on my person, and obviously just bigger lighters are always good to have. You can't beat a lighter, so have several of them with you. Obviously the problem is they can get wet or they can leak if you press the button in your pocket, so that's why we always have a backup ferro rod. Speaking of ferro rods, you can buy several cheap ones on eBay, and they're going to work decent. They're not going to be the best, but they'll work, and they're fairly reliable. You almost can't mess up a ferro rod, the mesh metal. Or you can buy maybe this Coggins brand for about $4 to $5 at Academy Sports, and it comes with its striker. And what you're going to want to do is pull this off, because usually these are not glued in there, and either drill a hole in it or re-glue it with better glue. You can always buy these cheap magnesium bars with a ferro rod on the side. What you're going to do is scrape off the magnesium into a pile in your Tinder, and then light your Tinder. I've done a video on these specific ones because they're like 75 cents on eBay, and I think that's worth it for a little magnesium and a small ferro rod. And obviously you can go to Walmart and buy these larger magnesium bars that all that magnesium can be scraped, and then use the ferro rod on the side to strike and light it. And those will run you about $7. Or you can get online for between $45 and $55 and buy a monster ferro rod, not a ½ inch thick like a lot of them. And I actually don't even have my normal ½ inch ferro rod with me right now, because it's always on my knife with my knife kit. So, but this huge beast, typical ferro rod is going to be this big, or a ½ inch by 6 inches, and then there's this massive thing, and that's going to give you a lot of strikes. That's 6 inch by 1 inch diameter. And the same thing is in this. That's Mr. Will Ferro. So I've done a video on that as well if you want to check that out. You can't beat a good magnifying glass. If you've got a lot of sun, then there's your free fire. You've wasted no materials or ferro rod or matches or anything. There's free fire. Something else that also has a ferro rod on it are these little lighters. They've got a small ferro rod on the edge. Basically, you're going to open these up. It's going to have a cloth there and a striker there at the bottom, and you're going to fill this full of some type of lighter fluid, and when you come out, that cloth will be soaked in lighter fluid. That way when you scrape your striker, that lighter fluid's going to light, and it'll be kind of a continuous match that you can refill. And of course, for emergencies, you can buy these 2-pack for $5 at Walmart of flares, mini flares. And for an emergency, to be able to take that out and strike it, and have probably a couple thousand degrees burning to be able to get a fire going, that's going to save your bacon. So $2, $2.50 a piece. You can't really beat that to have 1 or 2 of those in an emergency kit. Not to mention they're a flare, and you can use it for a flare's purpose. Emergency candles are good. You can carry these in your kit and be able to light it easily with a lighter, and then use that to light your fire. That way you're not running all your lighter fluid out, and you've got a cheap candle. These are about $1 at the Dollar Tree, or you can pick them up at Walmart, and usually get 6 or 7 of them. And this particular one with 6 candles will burn 27 hours. So you can light a lot of fires and be able to save your lighter. Or you can buy these tea lights for about $1 for a 12 or 16 pack. And you can do the same thing with the tea lights. And there's always these fuel canisters, or I can't remember the name brand, that you can buy at Walmart, but it's a little can you can buy in the camping section that's got kind of a jellified fuel in it. This particular one is called Sun Gel, and I've had this can probably for a good 10 years, and they still burn well. I had several of them, and have opened them up, and they still burn fine. As far as survival fire kits go, basically a lot of the same items you've seen. I have several kits that I have, and this one is just like a little survival kit. I did do a video on that, and you can go check that out. This one I'm going to save and do a separate video on it. This is what I consider my bushcraft survival fire kit. And this one, a couple of those mini flares, zip fire starters, tea lights, one of the bigger lighters, some of that self-made emergency fire starter, and that's pretty much it in that one. But it's really easy to take a lot of this different stuff, throw it all, especially in a waterproof container. That was an old Orion survival kit bag, but get you a waterproof container, and you can have something that will really assist you. And you can fit a lot of stuff in a small kit and be able to carry it without very much weight. Hope you enjoyed this video. There's a few things I didn't mention that I don't consider part of this category that you can also use for fire starting. Jute twine is one of them, and a number of other things. But this is just some gear that I have and carry, have in my kits. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.